Once again, thanks for joining us on DM Men. Today we're looking at a very critical conversation, especially one that has to do with the perception, the thoughts concerning what women really want in a man. So I think you need to sit back, relax, grab a popcorn or a pack of popcorn, better still, bottle of drink, be it water, name it, and just relax and listen, because I've got very intellectually sound, guests who are joining me to discuss this issue. To my right, as usual, I always start from my right. I do have one who is an international compare, a broadcast journalist, and she's ready to, spill it all and tell you what you should really know. And I think we're going to learn from this. Ify joins me. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And to my left, I have one who is very skilled when it comes to marketing, and of course, when you talk about business relationships. And when you talk of business relationships, you should also be aware that dealing with, the opposite sex also needs a lot of tactic, skill, and the likes. I've got Sharon in the house as well. Sharon joins us on the DMN podcast. Thank you so much for being here, Sharon.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
Great. And just for the records, there's a disclaimer. Sharon said this, so I need to put it out there, that she doesn't hate men, by the way. She just, says it as it is. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So I'm going to jump in straight. Our focus is really on what do women really want in a man, basically. And I think this conversation has gone on for time memorial. People keep talking about it. There are different misconceptions, and I think we need to lay this misconception to the ground completely using this podcast one way or the other. So I'm usually going to start with my right. So I'm going to start with Ify. Ify, first of all, what's the biggest misconception you think you've heard that people say women want in a man? I mean, we remember the tall, dark, and handsome. I don't know, does that still exist?
No, I did.
I didn't think so.
Did it ever exist? Is the question. Or the movies make us think that existed. When we're watching like Deliver Us from Eva, like these, Black American movies focus on that very handsome dude. I don't know if that really happened in
these guys.
Morris Chestnut. Yeah. So I don't know that really happened in reality, but based on what I've observed in terms of a misconception, right? I would say, yes, women want this that I'm going to mention, but there's a misconception shrouding that. So women want a man that is financially stable. Now, the misconception that shrouds that is that she's a gold digger.
Meanwhile, there's no gold.
I mean, I was being nice, I was trying to start nice, but,
we're not nice.
All right.
So that I know that women want, no matter what, no matter how modern as a woman you are, there is that stability that comes with financial security.
Absolutely.
But it does not make you a gold digger. But I feel like that is nuanced in itself, right? Maybe that's where we will now be looking for the parts where people are like, your own is too much now. What are you, like this young guy, but the basis is women want a man that is financially stable. Now the question is, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
That's a good one. So what does that mean? So I'm just going to take that and put it up there because we're going to address it soon.
Yeah.
But then again, we all agree that the tall, dark, and handsome era is gone. Or it's still there. I mean, aren't ladies moved by, he's a hunk, he's got, 6 packs.
No.
He's big.
I don't think so.
His legs are strong to the ground. I mean, when he smiles, the earth shakes.
Right?
No.
In fact, I even see, I feel a bit put off.
Yeah.
Joe, please tell me how far I can go in my conversation, because I don't want...
You can go all the way.
It's open all the way. It's a podcast.
You know what? I'll still be
Feel free.
a bit mild, but I feel a bit put off, especially when I see men that are a bit too concerned about the way they look. You're such a hunk, your brows are in a particular way, your hair, it's a bit...
Can I say something? I hate men. I don't hate, but I don't like men that know that they're fine. I like you to be shrouded with a bit of, am I fine? Am I not fine? I don't need you to be confident. Absolutely.
Let me be the one to help you.
let me be the one to build your confidence and tell you that you're a fine man. All of that. That might sound a bit harsh, but men that know that they look fine and know that they are handsome are very difficult to deal with as a species, because then they now want you as the woman to do the chasing, and that is not the way the Bible intended it. I'm sure we're all Christians here. Yeah. So as a Christian, that's not the way the Bible intended it, God intended it. And so therefore, a man that knows that he's fine and handsome, and maybe that's the only thing that he has going for himself, is a problem to the society and to the woman.
No, absolutely. Because why are you so concerned about
how you look?
If your body's oiled up or not?
When you see those videos of the guys doing their check
why
out
you
their face,
first of all,
do it yourself, DIY, and facials. Makeup,
I mean, you can't do that. No, don't get me wrong.
I mean, regularly,
regularly. Like, as a woman, you have your monthly routine. You do your hair, you do your nails, you do your lashes, you wax, all of that. That is fine, but that shouldn't be the core of who you are as a human, as a man. For a woman, that's not the core of who we are. But fine men, once they know they are fine, make that the core of who they are. And that's where the problem lies.
Yeah. And I personally am not attracted to like men who do it themselves in especially on camera. Like,
all those TikTok.
I mean, you can have a routine. That's okay. Maybe keep it behind the scenes. But coming to be telling me your 3-step process, I'm not really sure.
But I mean, if that is their job, that is fine. Yeah. However, I'm not going to be with that type of man.
And it's a preference thing.
It's a preference.
The same way men have a preference in the type of women that they want to be with. I personally will not be. I'll put it this way. I will not be attracted, right, to a man who I know
sits down,
edits a video of the camera to talk about if he's using niacinamide or he's using hyaluronic acid. I just know.
I'd be put off.
It's a no for me.
Yeah, completely.
It's a no for me. We have like flashcards.
Anyway, that leads us to dating. So, what kind of man do women look forward to dating these days? I think the dating process is different from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. Even if you watch in movies, it kind of like told the true tale of what happens in societies where women don't mind a guy who is just intelligent as long as he's smart and he's got. By the way, would you date a guy who has prospects? I don't know if that still happens.
I have prospects.
Prospects. This guy they call
never.
him AKA Prospectus.
No. Never. Prospects is good for when you're 20 or in your early 20s. For grown women like us, prospects is a joke to our future and our unborn children.
You remember the Tyler Perry movie where the guy had to sell one of his equipment? It didn't work. And what's it called? That movie where she ended up killing him and killing the
Acrimony.
Acrimony. I mean, that guy had prospects. He was old and they've been together for long.
She was a fool.
I mean, I know that movie cost a lot of. She was a what?
She was a fool.
Like point blank. But you know what? One thing that I'm aware of is I'm aware of the tides of life, right? And I understand that there are moments where you have it going on and there are moments when you don't. Now, for me, if I meet a guy, like Sharon rightfully said, your early 20s, yes.
It's fine.
If you've never had anything going on for you and maybe in my early 20s I met you, I'll just be like, okay, we're still growing. However, when you maybe get into your late 20s, your early 30s, or whatever the case might be, and you meet a guy and the guy still has the same prospects that he had when he was in his early 20s, please, I'm sorry, no. It's different if, here's what I was able to achieve in my 20s, but things didn't go well. I made a bad investment, or like the way business is good sometimes, and sometimes it's just not good. And, I'm starting from the scratch. But guess what? I know I could trust that you could replicate it even better.
Absolutely.
Because you did it before. Now, that's completely different from you've still been chasing that dream since you were...
of being a musician. That's the one that even... There's a funny
story.
Did
we talk about that like a few days ago? About dating someone that is in the music industry.
Yeah. I mean, he was waiting for the heat, right?
Wait. I don't think I can disclose this. Okay. Anyways, I'll hide it. I used to see someone and he was a producer. He was really like a good producer. And I loved him. And this was when I was in my early 20s. and he broke things off. Now, obviously, you all know what I'm doing, how I'm striving for what I'm striving for, where my business is taking me and all of that. And he's back. He broke up with me. Now he's back, still doing the same music producer thing. I'm not going to give you... And he had a good thing, right? He was pretty good at it. It blew up. But then it's been just downhill since then. And first of all, the way he broke up with me, maybe I'm just a salty person, and a better woman would give him another chance. But for me, it's not going to happen again, because first of all, you broke my trust without communicating properly what the issues were and all of that. That's a different story. But then again, producing, when I take it to my mom, I'm like, oh, mommy, he's a producer. Okay, sure, no problem. I mean, I hear how it sounds, but if we're being honest, and the trajectory that I want to take my career to, we're not aligned. Yeah. And then the further you try to drag that situation along, first of all, you might end up with resentment. Right? Especially when it feels like you're going in this direction and the person is going in another direction. Somebody is going to be resentful. And then might I also add that this person doesn't live in the same country as I do. Oh, wow. Exactly. Yeah. So when you look at things like that, sometimes it's a combination of different things. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is you're both headed into it's different directions, and then it's being like a primary source of income is not good enough for me anymore. Do you get what I mean? So that's the story on that. Yeah.
That's anyway. But I think I get the lesson. I get the point.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I'm learning from this is, and I think it kind of like, whether you like it or not, the women out there would also agree with you that when you were in your early years, prospects was good.
Yeah.
But there's a certain age you get to where it's not about the prospect. It's about what's going to really keep us going, what's going to keep the family and the life going. But talking about that, let's look at the family. There are statements that, you mentioned it earlier, gold diggers. Women have to look within the guy's background, his family. Does he come from a wealthy background before they could say yes? Do we really have that challenge in all women, or just
all
maybe
women?
A few?
Only younger women, like I said. I don't believe love is enough. I don't think that love as a concept can fulfill and sustain a marriage. Whether we like it or not, if you look at a group of marriages that haven't succeeded, you can tell one of the major causes is money. Absolutely. Right? Yeah. And when I hear that, oh, she's a gold digger, I'm like, how much gold do you have that I would bring myself to a level where I pretend to be in love with you, marry you, have children for you, put myself through the trauma of having children for you just because you have money? It's not going to be enough, because the emotional, the psychological, the all the different aspects is not enough to allow. The risk involved is not what the reward, if you ask me. Maybe because I live alone. I've lived alone for 3 years. On my own. I pay my rent myself. I do everything myself with the support of my lovely, lovely mother and my sisters. Do you get what I mean? Now, I know what peace looks like. I'm not a lonely person. I know what peace looks like. Peace. I have, a few friends come over, we, whatever, we hang out. And then the peace when they leave is so fantastic, because it is my space. So I'm not going to allow somebody that cannot give me that same sort of peace be introduced into that space. Do you get what I mean? So it's not about the money. It's not about it's just more than that. And I feel like as you grow older, those are the type of realizations that you come to, and then you realize that there's not really an amount of money that will make me, be with this person or whatever. So that's what I think as per like gold digging. I've always said that I like short, round bold men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I promise. Like,
Shorts.
The funniest thing ever.
Shorts.
Wow,
You
short.
have not short
I
as
don't
in
know.
shorter than me. I'm like
There's no producer.
Yeah.
Short ball.
yeah. So I'm like a 5'5" on a good day.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't be shorter than that.
Oh, so like 5'6".
5'6".
Just an inch.
Just an inch.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. You can be going to the gym, but you must still have a bit of a pouch.
Oof.
Yeah. You have to.
6 packs not on the dictionary.
No, it's not. It's
the
not.
funniest thing.
Yeah, because because what are you using it for?
This is
What
fantastic to the
are
guys who
you
are watching, like,
using?
what? That means we have hope.
Yes, there's hope. To be honest, because at the end of the day, you look at all those things. For me, it doesn't give the fact that you're tall and all of that. In reality, yeah, a lot.
But that's
it
a
does.
flip, though. They
Yeah.
say the short women love the tall guys, and the short guys
It's
love the tall women. But you're quite different, eh?
I mean, I don't mind a tall guy, but
Okay.
then I
But you
prefer.
prefer.
Yeah, because by the time all of us lie down on the bed, we're the same height. We're the same height. So that's my own.
That's a fun
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what your thought is about that. Looking at the family background of the guy, where he
Yeah.
comes from, financial wise, most importantly, is he able to take care of you? I mean, in our society, they'll say, I mean, if you take a look at your skin, you must ensure that he can buy those products
Absolutely.
that will care for that. But this is my question, and we need to really discuss this. What if Ify is capable of doing that for herself,
And he cannot do it.
and he can do something else?
Okay.
Not on the same level. It shouldn't.
Well, what if it's
Sorry.
not on the same level, and then maybe later more than that level?
I don't agree.
Aye.
But let's if he's
So,
answer.
okay. First of all, I have to put this out. To each his own.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
start
okay.
with that. Because
Yeah.
I've also grown to understand that the dynamics that I thought were the norm, I've seen several families that is different for them because
Yeah.
they met their
Yeah.
person and they realize, oh, this is what works for us, or that was what worked for us, and we're gonna go with it. And
Yeah.
it's no one's business.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, and I
Yeah.
agree with that. But when we take a look at what is more common, I would say this based on the essence of masculinity and femininity, right? Whilst I understand that there are women who can do it by themselves and they don't mind. Why? Because they've been socialized or they've been groomed, or as they say, life just has a way of just pushing you to a corner where you have no choice but to do it, and they're fine doing it. But one thing that I've come to understand is when women, they give off that sort of masculine energy, you won't get the best out of them.
Absolutely.
Men, and when I say men, I mean that in every sense of the word, men.
Real men.
Yeah.
Real men.
Love a feminine woman.
Absolutely.
And that femininity comes out most when you have someone who takes that position of provider and protector. And I get it
Absolutely.
that social media has now made this like a buzzword. Are you a provider? Are you a protector? But the truth is, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
You see men looking for, oh, we want feminine energy. We want a woman that is feminine. Okay, there's this prank that I came across, which was so beautiful. So there's this young girl who is in London and she wanted to go braid her hair, and she got there late, and the braider was now like, the late fee is £150.
Oh.
And the girl was like, it is? Okay, can I make a call? So she was just like calm all through, right? And in the comment section, you would see men saying, wow, she's so feminine. Women, this is what we're looking for. Someone that is not going to be fighting as if you're in the army, you know?
How come? Why?
Why? What are you doing? But, and then I saw the conversation where women were saying, let me tell you something. We want to be feminine. It's not like we don't want to be feminine. In fact, like we don't want to have to give off that masculine energy. If we meet men who we're not arguing about, are we going 50-50?
Oh my God. Don't get me started on that conversation.
Those arguments, like if that's not the case, we want to step. And I always say this, right? Because, it's so easy for people to be like, oh no, you women, you just like, you want to drain a man. And I said this, and I've worked on radio for several years, and a lot of women in Nigeria, let's take a look at the market women. These women carry their families financially.
Absolutely.
You will never know.
You would never know.
They cover their husband's nakedness.
Yeah.
Because that's what partnership is.
Yeah.
And they're fine with it. right?
I'm not fine with that, Sha.
No, they're fine with it.
I mean,
they're like, okay, let me cover. You will never know. In fact, that wrapper that they are tying to, they will say it's their husband that bought it for them. Do you get what I mean? Because women would always want to have someone who steps up to the plate, who wants to take charge and take control. It doesn't mean that when things go bad, those women who decide to insult you or whatever. No, because at the end of the day, when you come into a partnership with someone, it's for better, for worse, right? Absolutely. The person that was once a provider may have a bad patch. Yeah. Those women don't mind stepping up to the plate and being like, you know what, this is my guy. Yeah. Do you get? So I feel like if we have a balance where a man, he comes into his masculinity as a provider and a protector, the woman will be more than willing to lean into her femininity to create an atmosphere and an environment for you as a man to thrive.
Absolutely.
What if he's not able to match up the masculinity in terms
not get
of...
married. He should not have a woman. It's as simple as that. I hate how we...
What if he earns a salary of 250,000 naira in this economy?
That's his... See, this is what... this is what I believe. Hold on. Let me explain something. I'm a single woman today out of choice and also out of condition.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right?
Yeah.
And the condition is, if I'm doing ABCDE for myself and the person I'm talking to cannot do ABCDE for me, I'm not interested.
But there's also, sorry to butt in, I'm so sorry,
no
but
problem.
there's also a clause or a chain of thought that if you could do A, B, C, D for yourself, I mean, that's fine. It means that you ought to have been able, you ought to have been stable too.
Okay.
So that when he comes in, he's only going to augment.
Fantastic. You said the word augment.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that some relief, I have some relief,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
I can lean in and help him
Absolutely.
to
And he
lead
can
us.
also, yeah.
Right? But that's not the case. You men want to eat their cake and have it.
Hey, wow.
And that is why you have this issue of being a feminine woman. I don't want to be shouting at you. I don't want to be giving off the energy 247. I want to relax because I know that you are there to take up the load. I know that you are there to protect me. I shouldn't have to ask. So the moment I start asking, you've created an environment for me to be quote and unquote a nagging, like just be nagging, right? I don't want to be nagging. I want to relax. I want to keep my mouth, like I don't want to talk. I just want to trust that you can do it. But then there's the issue that you can't and you refuse to. And it's not like men don't know what to do. They do know what to do. I tell my friends, if you know me, anybody that knows me knows I love to read. I love fiction books, non-fiction, all of them. I love to read. I love flowers. I love to just relax, right?
Soft life.
Soft life. Like when I'm working, like, do you get what I mean? But then when I'm relaxing, I want to relax this certain way. So if you know that, why are you not doing that? When it wouldn't cost you, it wouldn't cost you more than 5 minutes to either go to a bookstore or 5 minutes to make a phone call. I'll be like, send her this flowers. It wouldn't cost you that. But then you create an atmosphere where it's like, she has to remind you. And I'm going to say something that is going to annoy a lot of people. But this is why I believe in my heart of hearts that men don't like women. Men like the idea of women. And men are with women to please other men.
Interesting.
That is what I believe, and I've come to that conclusion.
Why? What led to that conclusion? Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how to explain it in a way that will not give too much up. But then, you like how I look. For example, I go to the gym. I'm always in the gym, right? Yeah. So I work out. I have toned arms, toned this, toned that. Right? You want to be able to show me off and be like, have you seen her? I read, so there's small intellect there. Let me not buff up myself too much. There's small intellect there. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So you would put me in a situation where I'm with your friends and we're gisting, but then and they're listening to what I have to say, which is quite intellectual. But then come back home and I'm advising you, let's do this like this, and you're not going to take the advice. Right? Yeah. You like that I'm I'm able to create ways for us to make money. But when it comes to sharing the money, you are taking a higher
You may have
percent.
met the wrong man, Sha.
I agree. I agree.
I think you said the wrong
I
thing.
agree. I 100% agree, right? But then it is not just, I'm not just using my own
Yeah, situation.
situation. We're girls, we talk. We just, this is this man, this is that man, that. And it's something that cuts across. Maybe not in the same way, but in different, some it could be, relation, when it comes to what goes on in the bedroom, like even married folks and all of that. And, somebody lifting the weight, a married couple lifting the weight of the woman lifting the weight, and then not a simple things, or it now begins to affect your ego. Like there's so many things that has made me come to that conclusion, and I stand by it until maybe I see 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 different
guys.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you have them.
Yeah, to be honest,
I agree.
Yeah,
Actually,
maybe have
I believe that there are fantastic men out there. I would always
absolutely. My brother-in-law is a fantastic
say,
man.
there you go.
I mean, your brother
Yeah.
should be a
he's
fantastic man as well.
Well, is my sister's husband. But
Yeah.
It doesn't
so
matter.
he's a fantastic
guy.
man,
Yeah.
and I say that to everybody. I want their type of marriage where my sister, let me give you an example of what I mean to lean into your femininity. When we were growing up, my sister hated charging her phone. You could be in the same house, there's lights, the gen is on, everything. My sister's battery will be at a constant 2%.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, charge your phone. It used to rile me up, and we used to fight. This is my older sister, by the way. I used to hate it so much, and I'm like, why won't you just charge your phone? That's her husband takes it upon himself. Her power bank, her iPad, her laptop that she's using to work, her phone, everything. And that's somebody that's, because of that, because she's not worried about that, she will say, okay, she doesn't joke with his food. If my husband wants to eat at 11 p.m., what do you want to eat? I'm up. I'm making it for you. Do you understand? Those are the type of situations that I'm aware of. But I'm also, that is like maybe 1, 2, or 3, as compared to the bad ones. So I know that there are good men out there. I just wish that they would be more
Visible.
more visible.
So there's a video put up by a fitness chick. Hopefully, I don't know if I have that video. And at the end of the video, she said, "Are these the type of men that are left in the world?" That I don't know if you saw that. She said, yeah, yeah. I mean, hopefully, we'll try and put that up.
Okay.
And she said, "The good men are gone." I don't know what you think about that, though. Is that fear that comes from the women that we don't really have the good guys out
That
there?
a lot of the good guys
a lot of the
are
good guys
married.
are gone.
It seems like
Sorry,
Please
excuse
drink
me.
water. Take some water.
it
Take some
seems
water.
like a lot of the good guys are married. I'm not saying because the guys are married that means they are good.
Yeah.
They are two different things.
Wait.
So
Good guys are married, but the married guys are not good.
that's what I'm trying to
Not
say.
all- not all the married
them.
guys
Yes, the
are
fact
good.
that someone
Okay.
is married doesn't make them good, because there are people that are married and just embarrassing their entire family and lineage. But I would say
I'm
this.
sorry.
I would say this.
What
that,
an episode.
Yeah.
God.
There's still great men out there. I always say this because I'm not married, I'm not in a relationship, but I always say at the end of the day, I'm not looking for 500 men. I'm not looking for 40 men. I'm not looking for 30 men. I'm
Yeah.
looking for that one guy, right, that I will be married to, and by God's grace, we're going to be married for the rest of our lives. So like, I don't feel that much pressure. It's different if I'm someone who's looking to date multiple men. Right? I'll be like, oh my goodness, how can I, like, what pool am I going to find 4 good men, 5? I'm not looking for all of that. It's one person, and I know that God has that person for me. That's a given. Absolutely. But I would also say this, right? Just back to one of the things that you were saying about, what if a woman or certain men don't live up to certain things that maybe that masculinity and all that. Yeah. I always say that life is not so difficult when it comes to relationships. If you know the type of person that you are, look for the person that compliments you. Don't look for someone who clearly has said to you, I'm so sorry, you're not my type of guy for such and such reasons. And then you would demonize her because of that. You would insult her. Oh, you are, the Nigerian women. This is how this generation is. No, It's that she's just not your type, and
yeah.
you're
And
not
that's
her
fine.
spec, and that's fine, because there are women who don't mind, pulling the weights.
Yeah.
They don't mind. Maybe that's how they were
Absolutely,
trained.
yeah.
Maybe that's what they saw in their own
But
home.
that's also a trauma response.
And you know what? It's a trauma response, but they're fine with
They're fine
it.
with it.
They're okay with it, and that's fine. So let's not get into like these arguments all the time where it's like, oh, you met someone that you really liked, she turned out to not like you back
And then
because of certain things, and then you now say, oh, all women, all of you are like that. No, it's that she's just not your person. But guess what? Your person is out there.
Absolutely.
There's someone who does not mind going 50-50.
Absolutely.
There's someone who doesn't even mind that, you know what, your money is your own money, my money is my own money. We're living completely separate lives, but we're married. There are people who do that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I don't do that.
So
Sharon doesn't do that.
I don't do that.
What's your take on 50-50? I mean,
So the
on all
okay,
aspects.
let me be nice. Right? Let me try and be nice. I think that men that request for 50-50 are very wicked people. I think that's my thoughts. I'm
This
allowed.
is her being nice.
Yeah, that's me being nice. I think they're very wicked people, right? Because it is very unfair, especially for a practicing Christian, unless the situation is different. Yeah, so practicing Christian, if you claim that you are a child of God, you go to church, you've been brought up in according to what is in the Bible, and you tell your woman to go 50-50 with you, I think that you are wicked. And that is speaking as a Nigerian, right? For those in other parts of the world, the situation can be clearly different. But then I don't know any woman who would, there might be women that want to do 50-50, but I don't think a woman would offer that.
Be comfortable.
Yes, and that would be her first option when it comes to a relationship.
Absolutely.
Because if you ask me, women give up so much when it comes to marriage. And I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. Because first of all, childbirth in its entirety, the essence of being a woman is rooted in so much pain and anguish. God said it in the Bible when she ate of the fruits, that whole situation.
Yeah.
She was cursed, right?
Yeah.
She was cursed. And that comes with so much pain that if you are a man that wants to be with a woman, right, I don't think that it is a fair thing to do that to somebody that you claim to love. That is my opinion. I might be wrong. I might be biased. I might be speaking out of my butt because, I might not be saying like...
I'm actually done.
I might not be like... What I'm saying might be, trash. But that is what I believe.
So no 50.
Yeah, no, I
Sorry.
You know what? I agree with her because I feel like human beings in general, I was going to say it's a Nigerian thing, but no, we've put so much reverence on money that it takes away the essence of other things, other ways of contribution, that the money is the lord of it all.
Absolutely.
And if you are not the one that pays the piper, if you're not the one that is, putting the money, every other thing that you're doing is just
irrelevant.
random. It's irrelevant. But if you peel through it, those other things, you pay other people to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? So those are things that have a lot of essence. They have a lot of value. But because of how we've lauded money, that's why we look at money as the most essential thing when it comes to a relationship or partnership. And that's the reason why when we think 50-50, it's like, why are you even thinking? Because like Sharon mentioned, women give up a lot. It's sad the orientation that you would see a lot of men have about womanhood in Nigeria. You look through the comment section, because at the end of the day, the people that are commenting, they are human beings and they live in Nigeria and they are men. And I wonder, because you would see things like, is it only you? Like my mother gave birth to
10 people.
5 children, 3 children. Now women want to use epidural. Now women want to do CS. Things like that lack. In fact, they just expose your ignorance.
And it doesn't matter
but
your
the truth
social
is,
class.
these are men that will marry women.
Absolutely.
Right? These are men that are
that's a
dating
mindset.
women.
Yeah.
That is a mindset that you have reduced and belittled womanhood as though it's like maybe the way your phone works. You know, I just charge my phone. Of course, my phone should work when I charge it, as if it's a gadget.
Yeah.
Not understanding that there are different
layers.
facets. In fact, our hormones, and I know that this has gotten a lot of backlash where people are like, oh no, you know, you guys are using that as an excuse. No, I know that there's bad behavior. We're not talking about that.
Bad behavior,
and
yeah.
let's stop using like, you know, the minority to describe the whole. That's not what it is. You know, people that have bad behavior, that happens, that exists. But the majority of it is that as women, our hormones play a huge role. You know, the funny thing is that even us as women, we were not educated enough when we were younger.
Absolutely.
Until we got older and we started realizing, like, why do I feel this way? You go to the hospital, they'll say your iron levels are low. You're this, and you're just like, oh, what does that mean? How does that affect? Why does it affect how I feel? Why does it make me feel so tired? Why do I just want to lay down all day? You know? So there's so many things that we are even learning right now. So it's quite sad how they've belittled the role of just being a woman in society. Why? Because we're talking about money. Yeah. If she's not the one that is bringing the money, if she's the one,
she'll be in the kitchen. And that's why when people ask me, oh, when I'm talking to a man and he's like, oh, do you cook? I'm like, of course not. I do not cook. And I'm speaking, like, I'm not lying. I don't cook. I don't clean. I don't pick up a broom unless I've made a mess. I don't clean my house. I get somebody to clean it. So if that's the reason why you're coming into my life, from the jump, I do not cook. I can't cook. If you try me, I will put extra salt on purpose for you. Because why should that be a value of who I am, whether I can chop it up in the kitchen?
Could it be that maybe he just needs some form of security? Because the men need security too. They need to be secured at home and say, okay, fine, I have a wife whom I come home to and she has me in mind and says, okay, you know what, let me prepare your meal.
That's why you have a
understand
cook.
that you have a lot of energy, you've exhausted, let me just help you replenish and so on. Or rather, would you prefer that? I mean, he stops by the canteen all the time. He ABC canteen, and
he should buy for me when he's coming back.
That's the funniest thing. But you know what?
He should.
Joe?
No.
I as in she's hilarious. But you know what? I understand that because I believe that yes, men need that type of security. There's a nurturing atmosphere that a woman brings, and nurturing in its sense goes beyond words of affirmation. We'll be there to give you words of affirmation, which is very important. Creating an atmosphere where you could thrive, because a house that is not a home would you can't thrive in. You can't go to the marketplace or the workplace to be your very best self, right? So we would create that atmosphere for you. But yes, there are men who would like things like, oh, you know, a home cooked meal, even if it's once in a while and things like that. But here's what I would say about that, right? Okay. Because we understand that the world where our parents, you know, where it was a given that maybe your mother was a housewife. Gone are those days to a large extent. There are women who outrightly just say, I want to be a housewife. And there are some men who say, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But more often than not, that's not the case, right? Because you see that women have now gotten into a knowing of themselves, their purpose. They want to do more. They want to do more than just to birth kids and stuff like that. It is always beautiful where there's a partnership where both parties are able to identify these are the things that my partner wants to achieve, and I would like to help them out in that, which is fantastic because I feel like you get the best out of each other. If not, there'll be resentment one way or the other.
Absolutely.
That's great. However, these expectations must always be grounded and rooted in love. Here's what it is. If it's not rooted in love, you have a very rigid mindset or mentality of she must be in the kitchen.
She must kneel down. And
she must serve me. She must make a meal for me. Okay, what if it's on a day where you both have gone out since morning and you are both tired? Whilst I know that it's maybe Wednesday, and maybe Wednesday is the time you eat your poundo, and she's the one that usually gets your poundo, but on that Wednesday that you people went out together and you've gotten back late at night and you're both tired, that's where those expectations are rooted in love. Because a man that truly loves and cares for his wife will not be like, but is it not what you would at least give some sort of allowance and say, oh, she's tired. In fact, babe, don't even think about going into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Expectations from both parties rooted in love would always make a beautiful balance in a marriage and in a relationship.
Yeah. So for me, for example, I hate the idea of being in the kitchen. I'm not going to, not unless you hold a gun to my neck, I'm not really going to, like, you're not going to catch me in the kitchen willingly, right? What does that now, like, when you say rooted in love and all of that, how does that translate to, I don't like to do this thing, that I would try, but it's not something I would necessarily out of love do, but I can do other things out of love for you.
I feel like you should find your person.
I think
When you find your person will understand. There are people who even just dating now, the guy already knows that, this is my babe. Her shoe, when she comes back, her shoe will be here. Her wig is here. And he doesn't mind, like, babe, let me just put it for you. There are men that don't mind that. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? But they're able to understand that from the beginning.
This
is who I'm, and they found their person and they're like, we're fine. So there are men that don't mind that. In fact, there are men who, yes, they may have grown up in a home where their mom is always cooking, she's always, and they maybe become modern men, so to speak, and they're like, I would love it if my woman does that, but if she doesn't, and I have this woman that respects me so much and she's just like so in love with me, I don't mind. There are men who don't mind that. So it's always, and my friend taught me this earlier on, she always says, if you at the beginning have the hard conversations. I shy away from hard conversations. I don't want to have conversations about finances at the beginning. I don't want to be like, listen, my daddy has to take care of me, don't come and think I'm me. But I have to, there's a certain level of maturity that you would have to get into as you grow older.
So like it tells you his salary is 350,000.
First of all, I will not ask him for a salary, but
I would.
No, because I feel like that may be intrusive at the beginning.
But what if he spills and tells you?
I say, please don't tell me.
Why? You don't want to know?
No, I still make whatever request I want. I say, please don't tell me.
I'm screaming.
I mean, I know we've covered a lot in this conversation, and I feel like time will not be enough for us to really go the extra mile to talk about the other things that are very key. But I know every single man watching this now would have few questions to ask, some of which I have asked already. Let's look at the aspect of the societal pressure. There's this notion that the men have that if she's not married between certain age,
he should go and sit down in his mother's house and stop asking silly questions.
That she has passed.
I'm sorry.
But forget she's
carry on.
She's passed. So therefore, the society says that she needs to be able to get married. That means she's how I mean, I'm a man as well, and I'm sorry, I don't agree with that 150%. But I think it's also good to have. That's why we have you ladies in the podcast. I think the men need to understand that is age a factor to why they might want to act strangely or differently to a certain type of woman in terms of one who possibly might be looking for love?
I think that men that have a problem with that are looking for young women to emotionally blackmail. I think that men that think I think that men that think that women over a certain age are expired are the ones that are truly mentally expired and are looking for young women to abuse emotionally and psychologically. That is what I think. Because I'm almost 30, right? And not being married at this age seems like my mom is worried. I'm like, you have nothing to be worried about. Pressured? I'm not pressured. I'm pressured by my dad, and I've told him that. I've told him that. I've told him that if
maybe he's afraid that.
Because my sister was married before 30, and I've told him that if he's so insistent on me getting married, he should look for somebody's son for me to marry. If both of us like each other, we'll get married. I mean, I'm amenable. Like, I don't care as long as we love each other. We can build a future together. I do not care. However, if you're not going to make that move to introduce me to somebody, don't pressure me. Right, I forgot what I was saying.
I think you were highlighting on the fact
So
men who say
yes. So at the age that I am at, right, if I wasn't married early on, I've escaped my first divorce. That is my thoughts. Yeah, I've escaped.
I like that honesty, though.
Yes,
I must be honest.
Because
I love that honesty.
25-year-old me was silly as hell.
Still young.
Still young. I thought that the person I wanted to build a marriage with somebody that lived in a different continent. For heaven's sake. I mean, there are people that do it, but for the type of marriage that I want, that is not ideal. And I'm not going to move to Dread where he lives, because that's not like, it's not, I've been there. It's not somewhere I think it would be okay to build a family and all of that. So we'll be going and coming. What is that? That's not the type of marriage I'm looking for. So I think that once you pass that age and your frontal lobe, like I say, is fully developed, you'd be able to see past a lot of nonsense. You'd be able to call out rubbish as rubbish without allowing love blind your eyes. So I think that it is important for men to look at themselves and be like, why do I think a 30-something-year-old woman is expired? It's because my own line of thinking is expired, because I've reached the peak of sensibility and I'm not going to get that sensibility back. Like they say, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. I agree. Because why do you come to such a notion? And I say the reason why is because of our society. But then I urge people, like, you can't use your society, or you can't use that to not adapt your thinking. You must be able to see a point of view and see that, oh, my way of thinking was wrong, and then see a new point of view and be like, oh, I agree with this based on the new facts presented. But you cannot hold on to an old way of thinking just because it suits your narrative. It doesn't, it makes for no sense. So those are my thoughts on that.
All right. Anyway, wrapping things up. I mean, like I said, time will not be enough. But what are the top 3 things? We're going to start with you, Ify. Top 3 things you think men would need to work on. I mean, this is a podcast for men. And whether we like it or not, we do have honest men who feel that, listen, I might just listen to this podcast and it would just speak to me. So what are the 3 things you think men need to do better on? They need to work on.
3 things. Wow.
If you were to mention them randomly.
Randomly. Okay, the first that I would mention is to ensure that you are constantly at the feet of God. And this is the reason why I say that. The reason why I say that is, you know how I believe in the Bible, it was Paul that said, pursue me as I pursue Jesus, right? The best way that you as a man can step into the entirety of who God has called you to be is if you are looking at the prototype. You're looking at the person that has directed you on how to act as a man and as a husband. I say that personally, that my number one when I'm, considering any man is your relationship with God. Like, you must, in fact, your ears must be tuned to his voice. Because I know that that's when you are having coconut head, it's only God that can say, go and make it right. So that's the first thing. Secondly is, I believe men should learn more about a woman's biology, in the sense that I had mentioned to you that there's so many things that I, even as a woman, I'm getting to find out about myself, my body, my hormones as I've grown older, because all these things, that information wasn't easily accessible. I don't even know if we even knew much about it then, right? And I feel like when you're able to understand how a woman's body composition, where her hormones actually influence several things, it will help you better empathize with her, better relate to her. I'm not saying that you should tolerate nonsense or bad behaviors. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. But trust me, when you understand that about her, how her body works, it will help you better relate with her and treat her. And the third thing is to ensure that you play your role as the leader of your home and of your relationship. I believe that when a man takes charge of the direction, right? Because a lot of times when you see there's a brokenness somewhere in the home front, I always look at the father figure.
Yeah.
You know how they say strike the hedge and the sheep will scatter. Yeah. Yes. A lot of times, a lot of the issues that you may see, you could point to the father figure who allowed this in your home? You know, where were you when all these things were happening in your home? You are still leader, even if you're not a nurturer per se, even if it's assumed that the woman is the one that will be, you know, maybe more focused on grooming or raising the kids, you know, if we're going in the traditional context, even though you are still leader and head of that home, anything that happens in that home
Is on your head.
is still on you. So that's something that you should pay attention to as well.
All right. Top 3 for you. What would it be?
I agree with her number 1, and that's going to be my number 1, which is Jesus at the center. I'm a Christian. I believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Jesus at the head. You will falter, you'll make mistakes, but if Jesus is number 1 in the man's life, everything else, you know, falls into place. 2, communication. A lot of men don't know how to speak. A lot of men don't know how to, and I'm being so for real, like in terms of, I'm having a busy day, and I tell men that don't communicate, the reason why you don't communicate is because you don't like me, and that's fine. Just don't come and be wasting my time. Communication. I'm going through a rough patch. Just say it as it is. Like, you know, I trust that the men would know their partner to know that this is the best type of way to communicate with this person. The third one would be It's coming. The third one would be application of common sense. Apply it. It might seem harsh. I know that I look like a man hater, right? But if I'm not honest to you, who else would be? Do you want to go and embarrass yourself in front of another woman? I will tell you the truth. Just apply the common sense. I'm telling you that thing that you want to do that you know you should not do, just don't do it. That thing that you think that, oh, she would like, just do it. I tell men, and I tell like my male friends, that dating a woman is the simplest thing on earth, but you refuse to apply your God-given wisdom and common sense in simple scenarios. That is why you're constantly saying, oh, women this, women that, and you don't sound, you know, good up there. So just apply it, and I'm sure that you'll see a difference, and you can thank me later.
Fantastic conversation with that. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Ify. Wow. Like I said, maybe we'll have a part 2 of this, and possibly we'll look at we'll look at another aspect, because I know the guys who are watching are possibly thinking, okay, fine. And I can bet you that the comment section would be filled with questions. No, please ask them this. No, there's a question you did not ask them. So I'm sure when we come back, we'll take a look at all of that. But thank you so much, ladies, for being here.
You're welcome. It was so great.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. So don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to also follow. Don't forget to drop a comment or 2, and we'll come back with another episode. This time, maybe we'll be talking about something quite different, but maybe with the ladies this time. Yeah, in focus. Hopefully. Thanks for watching, guys.